Maybe the hardest person to let go of is not him. Maybe it is the version of you who believed that if she could explain herself better, stay calmer, look better, ask for less, or love more generously, he would finally understand her value. That is why some relationships are so difficult to leave. You are not only losing a person, you are losing the possibility that all your patience, all your effort, and all the years you invested will finally be rewarded. But love is not a reward for good behavior, and a relationship is not the place where you should have to prove that you are worthy of basic care. By your 30s, you probably know how to read a room, solve a problem, carry pressure, and keep going when other people become unreliable. Those qualities can build a life, but inside the wrong relationship, they can make it easier to carry two people and call it love. It rarely looks dramatic. It looks like writing a long message, editing out every sentence that might upset him, adding reassurance, and ending with an apology for having a need in the first place. It looks like saying, "I am fine," before anyone has asked what you actually need. It looks like explaining his silence for him. He is busy, he is stressed, he does care, he just shows it differently. One explanation may be fair, but when you supply every explanation, you are no longer having a conversation. You are carrying both sides of it. You change your schedule, you lower your expectations, you soften your voice, you wait longer for an answer, you stop mentioning the things that hurt because you do not want to be too much. And when he moves away, you move closer. When he gives less, you give more. When the relationship becomes unclear, you work harder to create certainty. This does not mean you are weak. It means you have learned to respond to uncertainty with effort. But effort cannot create mutuality alone. Underneath all this effort is often a private equation. If I am calm enough, attractive enough, useful enough, undemanding enough, and patient enough, then I will finally be chosen. At that point, the relationship becomes an exam. There is no syllabus. The standard keeps changing. The result is never announced. Every cold reply feels like feedback. Every good weekend feels like proof that your work is finally paying off. So you stay because the next moment might validate everything you have already sacrificed. Healthy relationships require effort and repair. The problem is effort whose hidden purpose is to earn basic clarity. Clarity is not a prize. Consistency is not something you receive after becoming easier to ignore. And love that requires your disappearance is too expensive. Growing older does not mean leaving at the first imperfection. It means learning the difference between compromise and self-erasure. Compromise says we both adjust because this relationship matters to both of us. Self-erasure says I will keep adjusting so that you never have to. Time invested is not proof that more time will fix it. Love felt is not proof that the relationship is workable. Another person's inability to meet you does not mean that you failed to communicate beautifully enough. Sometimes you were clear. The answer was simply not the one you wanted. The first shift is simple but uncomfortable. Say the important thing once, clearly, not as a threat or a 10-page argument designed to produce the perfect response. You can say, I want a relationship where affection, decisions, and repair are shared. I cannot keep carrying all three alone. Then observe what happens. A response is information. Avoidance is information. Temporary improvement followed by the same pattern is also information. Repeated behavior eventually becomes the answer. The second shift is to stop overpaying for uncertainty. Match your investment to the relationship that actually exists, not the one you keep imagining. This is not punishment, it is accuracy. If you are always initiating, planning, reassuring, forgiving, and repairing, step back long enough to see the structure without your constant labor holding it up. Space reveals whether there was mutual movement inside the bond. The third shift is to change the question. Instead of asking, "Does he love me?" ask, "Can I be honest here without shrinking myself afterward? When I say no, is my no respected? When something hurts, can we repair it together? Do his choices create steadiness, or do his words repeatedly ask me to ignore what I can see? Am I choosing this relationship from self-respect, or am I waiting for it to prove that I am worthy? Love is a feeling. A relationship is a pattern. Your life is shaped by the pattern. You do not need to turn him into a villain before you are allowed to choose yourself. He may be a decent person and still be unable or unwilling to build the relationship you need. Both things can be true. You do not need one final conversation in which he admits everything and gives you perfect closure. Sometimes closure is accepting the pattern already seen. The mature version of you does not stop loving deeply. She stops using love as evidence against herself. She stops translating neglect into a challenge to become more valuable. She stops asking, "How can I make him choose me?" And she begins asking, "Why am I choosing a relationship in which I keep disappearing?" Your life does not begin after someone validates you. You do not have to become more convenient, less emotional, or more useful to qualify for care. So stop proving. Start observing. Stop auditioning. Start choosing. Maybe you were never asking for too much. Maybe you were asking a relationship with too little room to hold the whole of you.